the roof on this 1963 Impala that I just painted. I've had a lot of people asking me about flake and how I flake and all the rest of it, so I figured this would be a pretty good candidate. I'm showing everybody how to flake a roof, or how I flake a roof anyway. So starting with the roof, this whole car was just painted maybe 3 days ago. It's safe enough to put the plastic down on it. I'm going to keep the heat down just to make sure that it doesn't stick to the paint, but I still have to flow coat this car anyway. I'm pretty sure that we're good to go. I am going to be spraying a base that's similar to the color of the actual flake. Now, for this I'm going to be using Paint Huffer's flake, just because it was really close to the color that I wanted to use on the car, and it was really close to the base that I wanted to use. I'm going to be using small or fine flake first, so this is like mini flake. I'm going to cover the entire roof with mini flake first. Then what I'm going to do is use the bigger flake and the smaller flake and some other flake that I have in the room next door, so that I have 3 sizes of flake inside, and then I'm slowly going to transition into that and go back and forth with a little bit of a mix I like to do. I don't like to have any holes inside of the roof. I like it to be pretty much almost solid flake. It's just something that I like doing. I don't like big holes in between the flake. I like seeing flake. If I'm going to flake a roof, I'm going to flake a roof. I don't want to flake a roof and see holes all over the bloody place and flake, not evenly dispersed and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. So I'm going to get to laying this base out on the roof, and then what I'm going to do is start mixing up flake. So yeah, see you soon. So we're going to get busy doing this right about now. People have also asked me what size gun do I use, like what tip, what is it exactly that I normally would shoot with to shoot big ass flake, and I just use this. It's an inexpensive gun. They cost like 70, 80 bucks. You can get them at pretty much any part supply place. This one's a Dominion one. There's other kinds. It's basically a 1.8 tip primer gun for the most part. That's what I use them for. It's nothing special, but 1.8 tip is pretty much all that you need to blow this flake. And so I'm going to use the 1.8 to do the majority of the work on this today, except shoot the base. I technically could shoot the base with it, but then I'd have to clean the gun out like crazy to shoot the flake, because I don't want the paint to get onto the flake. And this is pretty much a gun that I'll only use for flake and then clean the heck out of it so I can flake again the next time. But yeah, that's about it. That's where we're at right now. I'm going to get to mixing up this base. I'm going to get to putting it down so that I can spray the first round of flake. So stay tuned. I'm going to mix this base up really quick. It's a mix that I have kicking around. Like I said, I've got so much paint in the back, it's not very hard for me to pull out a color that is similar to the foundation that I'm going for, which is pretty much all you need. You just want something that's going to be close to the flake, so that when the flake lays out on top of it, it gives you a little bit more coverage, and you don't have to completely cover it, but it gives you an idea of when you've got really good coverage as far as flake is concerned. You want a base that's going to be complementary to whatever color flake you're shooting. So because I'm shooting flake that kind of has that light blue kind of color to it, this kind of really light bluey kind of flake, I'm aiming for a color that looks like that. Okay. So it's a little loud in here now because I actually got the fan going because I'm going to start shooting. Got the paint mixed up in my cup. I'm going to be using piece sat up to shoot the base. We're going to blow it on real quick and see if I can get some action shots while I'm at it. Just got to put some paint down, alright? Let's get going. Underneath this flake, guess I can pick it up and show you. It's a very light blue that I mixed up. It's got around, I don't know, 3 different blues in it. Just some stuff I had kicking around at the shop. You can tell here it has a little bit of metallic content in it. It's just a very mild baby blue. It's nothing too spectacular, it's nothing too crazy. Just mix something together that was pretty close to the actual color of the flake. It's going to be sitting on top of it anyway, so like I said, it's more for coverage that you do this than anything else. Okay, so the base was shot with the Satajet, as mentioned before. Just a bunch of blues I had kicking around. There's a little bit of metallic in it because there's a blue that I'm working on, another kind of powdery, pastel-y baby blue that I'm working on for another car that I'm going to be doing. So this was basically some throwaway paint that I'm not really going to be using anyway. I just needed something to throw a foundation down. So it gives you an idea kind of what you want to put down in relation to the color of flake that you're going to be using. So that is pretty much where that is. And it's just one light coat. I mean, it's covered. I put one coat on it. It's covered. The flake, for the most part, is going to fill this whole roof up really soon anyway. So there's nothing really to worry about. Don't get too crazy at that point of what you're going to do as far as how much you need to put down. Just as long as it's covered, you're good to go. Now, people always ask me how much flake I use and how do I know how much flake to put into stuff. And I really apologize for the mess. I'm just really been thrashing this week, and I really just want to get this done. So rather than cleaning it up and making it look really pretty, you know, like it normally is, or making you think that's how it normally is, this is kind of where we're at right now. So again, I apologize. Now, getting back to the flake, people always ask me, how do you know how much to measure as far as clear or intercoat or whatever it is that you're usually using to carry this, to put this onto that. I wish I had a real easy way to explain it to you, but I don't. Pretty much I go by how much coverage is on my paint stick. So I'll keep adding it until the paint stick gets covered or saturated with the flake. But I will add in increments so that I know how much I'm putting in. But at this point I kind of know how to do it by sight. So I'll kind of do it and see if I can do it in a way that I can explain it better than just doing it and you guys not knowing what the heck I'm doing and not being able to follow along. All right, so let me kind of get situated and I'll come back. Okay, so we're going to want to mix up our clear. I use Matrix Auto Glass a lot. I really like it. It's really nice clear. Has a lot of body to it. It's nice high solids. I'm going to mix this 2-to-1. So in shooting for 2-to-1, you can go, you know what, I'll go nice and easy. just to keep it simple. So they got 2 to 1 here on the measuring cup, right? So you see how it says 2 to 1 right there? Okay, so 2 to 1 means I'm going to take it up to the, with this one, probably line 4 for my first pour. Cover this back up. Put this over here. And for my hardener, I'm going to go to the second 4. So you can see that there's 1 4 on the bottom and 1 4 on the top. That's your 2 to 1. That's the ratio. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm going to mix this clear up really quick. I want it just a little bit thin, just a teeny tiny bit. I'm just going to add just a teeny bit of reducer to this. Got to get my other reducer out of the mixing room. We're going to mix that up. Okay? So now we've got a clear that we can use to carry this flake to the car. Now, I'm going to clean this paint stick. Mixing. There's different ways that you can mix. Actually, to tell you the truth, this might be a little bit too much clear. But now that it's mixed, I can actually transfer some over here. It doesn't really matter how much I put in, just whatever the amount. And then you have some left over in case you put too much flake in. You can always add some of the other premixed clear, but it's always good to keep some clear over there ready to go to add to balance it out. Now you can see that this is my fine flake. Okay. Usually what I will do is have some way, shape, or form of measuring it, and for the most part I usually use the lid. So I will fill this lid completely full. It's not the most measured out way to do this, but it gives you a pretty good idea. So right now I've got it on, you can see it's on the 4th line down here. 1, 2, 3, 4 inside the cup. Just seemed to work out like that pretty good. I'm going to take all of that and put it in one big capful, and we'll see where we're at. Take your stick, measure it up. Okay, measure it up. Sorry, mix it up. Mix it up, mix it up. And you can see on the stick, my dirty stick, it's pretty good. It's got some on it. It is, you know, on there, but it's not quite enough. Not for my liking anyway. So we're going to add 2. Let's say two good capfuls. Okay, that's pretty much a flat capful. Okay, right now we're at 2 capfuls, and you just want to mix that. Mix it good. Mix it all in because it's dry. If you don't mix it, it's going to clump. So you want to mix this really, really well. That's good. Now you can see the difference in how much it's covering on that stick. It's covering really well on that stick. That's a good mix. You don't want to do too much because you don't want to clog the gun up. You want to make sure that you actually get some half-decent coverage. I'm happy with that. We'll try shooting that and see what happens, see how much coverage we can get. You can always add more later on if the mix is, you know, not 100% the way you want it. As it is right now, I'm happy with that mix. Alright, so we got the paint loaded inside the gun. One thing you're going to see me doing a lot is shaking this gun around to keep the flake from settling in the bottom of the gun and clogging up the tip. You're going to want to be doing a lot of moving this gun around when you're shooting that roof because it's not going to take much to clog this gun up. And so we want to keep this agitated. We want to keep the flake moving around and suspended inside the clear while we're shooting the roof. Now, it's going to get a little noisy in here. I'll take a couple shots to let you guys see what's going down while I'm shooting it. All right? Okay, so this is where we're at. I've got 2 coats of this kind of mini flake mix down. And you can see it's pretty much covered the roof. I shot 1 coat of clear on top of it, just a really faint coat, just to kind of get some coverage as far as building up a little bit of clear on the actual car so that when I put that big stuff down, it has something to stick to and it doesn't fly off. This right here is pretty much what you're going to be left with when you flake the roof. Should look something kind of like that. That was 2 pretty decent passes, and with 2 pretty decent passes, I got enough coverage that there's enough of a foundation down there that I can start mixing the 3 flakes together and getting a nice flaky top on this thing so that we can get to doing some paneling and some candying and fades and stuff like that. So that's that. Now we're going to get to loading up the big stuff in the gun using the exact same formula that basically I told you before. I'm going to mix the flakes together, get the same kind of consistency on the stick, and then hit this thing again and hammer it home and cover this whole thing so that it's ridiculously covered up. So next time you see this, it should be completely covered with flake, and we'll go from there. So the whole roof is done, for the most part. I'm going to put 1 coat of clear to lock all this down, but I got to let it dry for a while because there's like hella material on this right now. Is hella still a word? There's hella material on it. Gotta let it sit for a couple of days and gas up. There's around 5 coats of clear on this thing right now. It's pretty much maxed out at what the limit is. So I'm gonna do 1 protective coat so that I don't cut through the tops of this blue flake, and we're done.